Hello, guys. Welcome back to Spurs Related. Something a little bit different today after the obviously the match review, the match preview for Liverpool, draw at the weekend. Hope everyone's enjoyed that game. I certainly enjoyed the game. You're obviously reviewing it, saying it's disappointing not to get the win, but I'm still quite happy, satisfied about it. It's all about Thursday, and we will review the game on Thursday. Preview, sorry, the game on Thursday on Wednesday. So look forward to that one, guys. Obviously, all the stats, all the breakdown, all the predictions. So look forward to that. I hope everyone's doing good in the chat. Andre's idea here to do a scout report, I think is a great idea. We'll review 7 players who are on loan out from Spurs at the moment and see if they should stay or go or maybe get sold in the summer. So, yeah, over to Andre. Andre, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. I definitely think it's a very good idea to look at these players and see what options we have before we go out into the market and buy some players, which definitely will happen. But, we have a few players that are incoming. One in particular, especially that we bought last summer. I think you remember exactly who I'm talking about. That we'll have to see how he's been doing.
Sounds good. Sounds brilliant. And yeah, it was, like I said, something a little bit different, guys. Obviously, you guys are used to the match previews, the match reviews, a few quizzes here and there when we get a chance to do so. But thought you guys would like a little loan review because at the end of the day, I mean, I haven't certainly been keeping tabs with Pepe Matasar, as closely as knowing exactly how many goals or assists he's got or how good he's doing. So it will be good to understand that, and also obviously to see who we should maybe clear out in the summer of this massive rebuild that needs to continue. But if you guys do enjoy this kind of new, creative, different idea, smash that like button. Let us know in the comments. It would be great to know if you want kind of this kind of content to come up. But before we get into things, Andre, I know you are keen to get on with the first player. Let's just welcome in a few of the Spurs Relatables. A&R Army, always here. What a legend, says Coys. Welsh Gal saying big up James and Andre. Welsh Gal, hope you're doing well. Catman Jess, big up James and Andre, and says going to be a fun show. I hope so. That's what we try, guys. And Mark's also in here saying evening, lads. Coys, evening, Mark. Hope you're doing well, mate. Great support already. 4 or 5 waiting to hear all about this, Andre. Let's go.
All right, so like you mentioned, we're gonna talk about Sarr. He's a player we brought in for, I believe it was around 15 million. Quite a good amount of money. And we haven't had the best of luck when we sign in young players for this kind of money. They end up being one season wonders, and I'm hoping that's not the case with this guy. Last season, if we remember correctly, he played 27 matches, had 4 goals. He accumulated 5 yellows, played around 1,762 minutes, 86% pass completion, and a 71 tackle success. So overall, not bad for his first season coming in. During the first half of the season, he only played around 3 matches, and then in the second half, he played 16. So basically, of the entire from the 18 games that he had in the Ligue 1, about, I would say, only 3 of them were in the first half. What did you think of this guy when we signed him?
I didn't know much about him, mate. I honestly can't lie. I knew he's a young player, up and coming player. A lot of good things said about him. Technically, very good for his age. I mean, people are tipping him to be kind of a kind of Moussa Dembele kind of thing. I don't think you ever get a heights of that kind of thing, but I mean, those stats aren't overwhelming. But then again, he doesn't really play a position where you need to score and assist loads, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's obviously promising. He's playing for his country age. What? How old did you say he was? 20?
He's 19, going 20. Yeah.
So yeah, it's obviously promising. He's obviously he's a talented guy, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a good point here in the comments saying Pepe Sarr needs to bulk up a bit. I rate him though. Not gonna lie. Listen, like I said, Andre, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I've watched this guy week in week out because I honestly haven't. But Maxime's in here saying too young for the Premier League. Another loan for him. I could see that happening. To be honest with you, big up Maxime. Welcome on in. And yeah, I mean, maybe let's get your thoughts on him.
Yeah, well, this season's been a little underwhelming. Yeah, Catman Jess, I agree. Especially if he's struggling a bit in League this season. I can't imagine the Premier League how it's going to be. He's played 31 matches, which is a little more. He's only got 1 goal. He's got 2 assists. He's accumulated 7 yellows. He's played 200 more minutes than he did last season at 1,900. He's still got a good pass completion of 84, 69% tackle success. But the numbers have been dwindling. He's played 13 games in the first half, and then it went down to 6 in the second half of the season, coming off 10 times as a substitute, 21 starts. So I am a little concerned. He's slowly sort of been pushed out of the team, and they are a team that are currently fighting for relegation as well. They are 19th place at the moment, with I think a game in hand on the team above them. So
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're going to get relegated, right? So, or they might even be relegated already. I'm not too sure, but I mean, you can't just obviously look at just the team. It is the player at the end of the day. You know, there's good players in Norwich's team. There's good players in Everton's team. They might go down. So I don't think you can base it too much on the team. But obviously, his contribution to the team, you could argue, well, would they be doing worse without him? Is he making a massive impact? I don't know the answers to that. But obviously, that is something you have to look at. But I would probably say a loan is looking likely for this guy again.
yeah, I would think so, especially because just the League is it's not high. It's I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect League 1. It's got its players. It has Mbappe in it. It's got Neymar and Messi and all those guys in it. But I do think that there's a reason why PSG dominates so well, because the teams that come from other leagues normally go to PSG, while the rest of the teams have their homegrowns. But I think that we might. I think loaning him back to Ligue 1 would not be the smartest decision.
So you think we need to loan him to what? A championship club? A Spanish club? What do you think?
I would think either a championship club that's fighting for promotion, or just a mid-table Premier League team, maybe.
The thing is, though, and it was actually something I was going to mention, Welsh guys brought it up, a bit of Brian Hill get a snap like a twig in the Prem, but this is what we were saying. We wanted Brian Hill to go to like a West Brom, a Middlesbrough, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United, but he ended up obviously going to Valencia, and he started quite well for Valencia. I haven't heard too many good things. Obviously, we'll get into that, but I just feel like you can't choose where a player is going to get loaned to. He's going to get loaned to whoever's interested, and I can't see many championship clubs being interested in this guy personally. Obviously, time will tell, but I could see him getting loaned back out to the French league. And I know you're saying it's not a good idea, but that's the realistic. I can see that happening, to be honest with you.
It could, but at that point, I'd rather he just stay then, to be honest, and he just keep training with Tottenham if he's gonna, because I don't think he's gonna grow much more in League. I think if we want to make him ready for the Premier League, it's not gonna. Yes, he needs game time, but if one more season at League 1 has provided this, then it might just be better for him to stay, wait for something better in January in terms of like a better club to loan him at, or just keep him around. I'd say try him out in the preseason, see how he does.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Especially because clearly Conte has not been willing to try out Harvey White over Winks. So maybe if we're not able to sell Winks, Sarr might be a better option to come off the bench if we're shorthanded with injuries.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, he's better than Winks, and I can't see Winks staying past this summer. I really hope not, obviously, but I do think we will bring in another centre mid of some kind. I think Lo Celso and Dombele will get offloaded, and I think we will bring in another centre mid anyway, probably with a bit more experience, which probably leans even more towards this guy getting loaned out again. Mark's saying send him to Championship. It'll get it tougher there. Exactly. Dan's in here. Big up, Dan. Hope you're well. He says, evening all. No football tonight. Sad face, but non-stop stream with different Spurs content creators. Absolute legend. Thank you so much for popping in. And Ami's also saying constantly playing in your comfort zone doesn't help. Exactly. You have to experience different kind of settings in football to develop as a player. I mean, you look at I mean, obviously the other side of the spectrum, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's done it in multiple leagues because he's got that experience of the physicality in Serie A, the trickiness of Spain, and the Premier League just being the elite. He's done it in all three of those leagues and Portuguese league when he was younger as well, actually. So you look at that, but then you look at players like I don't know. I don't want to like focus on one player too much, but the one that sticks out for me would be someone that's comfortable in their league, maybe like a Gerard Moreno, who's pretty much only played in Spain. You argue, well, could he score that many goals in the Premier League? Probably not. He'd probably end up like a Soldado. So that's the kind of thing I'm thinking, and it's a really good point. His team Metz is awful this season. That's not going to help him. But in the big games, he's often good. That's good to hear, though, isn't it, Andre?
Yeah, 100%. And I do think, we wouldn't have signed him if we didn't think he was good. So I'd say loan him, but not to Liga. I know, at the end of the day, if Liga is the only clubs that want him, then maybe. But I'd rather he stay with Tottenham and train with Tottenham than go to Liga again.
Yeah, exactly. One more comment on Son. Let's get into the second player. We had to loan him to Metz to get to purchase from them. I think a better team, Ligue 1, would be a better option for him. And I would agree here. Maybe someone a little bit further up the table, maybe like a Nice, a Lille, Marseille might suit. Although you could argue, would he be good enough to start in those teams? Probably not at the moment, to be fair. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's kind of a catch-22 is, well, if you send him to a bigger club, he's probably not going to start. But if you keep him at a smaller club, is he developing? Is he out of his comfort zone? It's a really good talking point, guys, in the chat. And I don't know. Let's just see what happens with this guy. Hopefully he comes into fruition. Is a really good player for Spurs in the future.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take a couple steps back to take 3 steps forward. You know that saying? That's what Skip did, right? Took a couple steps back. He went to the championship, played with Norwich, absolutely destroyed that league, came back a new man.
Yeah, other than his legs don't work now because anyway we'll get into that another day. But Lens or Nonce would be perfect for him. Exactly, a team a little bit further up the table, maybe a mid-table team. Because I believe Mets are getting relegated. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like they're down, right, Andre, 19th. So yeah, that doesn't sound good for them. Let's get into the second player.
Perfect. So let's talk about a guy who, unfortunately, would always play maybe like 1 or 2 games for our club every season and then get loaned out.
Yeah,
it's Carter Vickers, who has absolutely made the Scottish Premier League his own. I'm pretty sure his contract's about to end at the end of this season. They won the Scottish Premier League Cup, so that's another Spurs player who's gone out and won something outside of our club.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Yeah, what a surprise there. But no, you know what? I think once his contract ends, just let him go to Celtic. He's found his place, the place where he can dominate. From 41 matches that he played, he had scored 4 goals, 1 assist, 89% pass completion, 83% tackle success, and he played 40 of his 41 matches that he played at 90 minutes. So he played the full thing.
Wow. I mean, yeah, like you said, I think he's found his level. I think he's found his club. I know for a fact the Celtic fans love him. He pops up with a few headers like you just read out. Solid. Is he good enough for the Premier League? Maybe a team like a bit like we're saying with Sarr, like a mid-table team. Is he good enough for Spurs? No. So personally, like you said, his contract's up in 2022. This summer, he's going to probably leave on a free to Celtic. It's probably the most obvious choice and an obvious situation. And good luck to the guy. Look, he wasn't quite good enough for Spurs. He didn't quite get his chance. But this happens. We've had so many players like him that aren't quite good enough for the first team, but move on. And it sounds like this loan's been perfect for him. I'm just happy he's found his club, to be honest.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, as just as a football fan, you want to see players just develop and be good. Because at the end of the day, they're people just like us trying to find success. And I'm glad that he's found a club where the fans love him, where he is that guy, that center back, that wall. So good for him, honestly.
Exactly that. Exactly that. Um, I know he's saying 10 million for reserve players. Very good. So, sorry, Andre. So he will get 10 million for him,
Not that I know of, but maybe that was something that was done in the loan deal, possibly.
right? Okay. Okay.
We'll have to look
Um,
into that.
yeah, this is more of an education session for me at the moment. Elvis saying James and Andre, big up. Elvis, always good to see you in the chat, my man. Hope you're having a good day so far. Um, cool. I mean, any concluding thoughts on Cameron Carter Vickers? I mean, I wouldn't be too upset to see him go, but at the same time, it would be nice to track him how he's doing for Celtic because I love watching the old firm derby. I think it's a very underrated derby. I love watching it. It's just passion. There's not many games like it anymore, and I've seen it. He actually scored in one of the last old firms, which is incredible against Rangers. So yeah, it's good to obviously track how he's doing, but I don't think I'm going to be losing sleep over Cameron Carter Vickers exiting Spurs at the end of the season, to be honest with you. I thought he'd already gone, like I said to you earlier. I thought we sold him to Celtic, but I think I just said in my head he's not coming back.
Yeah, no, I think when he loaned out to Celtic, even he knew that that was the last loan he'd have. There would be no other contract coming in, and I
Mm,
think he's done a good job here, so
yeah,
that's fine. That's my concluding thoughts on Carter Vickers. Good luck.
yeah. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, now Yanami here loves Celtic. Yep. I don't know who
Kaya,
Kyogo is. Do you know who that
he's
is?
he's a forward. That's short for um I can't remember his full name, but he's basically Celtic's newest forward. He's scored quite a lot of goals for them. Asian player, very good player, and yeah, decent. I think the Celtic fans love him as well. So I can see what Ayanami means. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, all right, all right. And speaking just quickly on the Scottish Premier League, I'm actually really rooting for Rangers in the Europa League. I've
Would
been
love it.
watching them. I've been watching it since they made it out of the group stages, and they were just kept surprising me. So good.
Yeah, yeah. He's It would be great to see Rangers win it. I mean, their fans are so good. Like Scottish fans, they're so passionate. Like I said about the old firm, not many derbies still have that fierce atmosphere where you know just every tackle is huge. Like every moment's huge. The fans sing the whole game. It's just unbelievable. And Rangers, I don't know if you saw the semi-final against Leipzig, the full-time scenes, Ibrox, 50,000 seater stadium, old-fashioned stadium. It sounded like there was 100,000 people there. It's just ridiculous. Every single fan singing. That's what football should be like. And yeah, I really hope they beat Frankfurt. I really do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm mainly just relieved there is no like if we're fighting for top four, we're not sitting there sweating because West Ham could possibly go in there and take that spot from us. So it's all good.
Cool. Mr. Simon, number seven's in there. Big yourself up. I haven't seen you for a little while, Simon. Hope you're doing very well, my friend. He says he'll probably end up in the Prem after having a couple of great seasons at Celtic. It's his one step back to go three steps forward. There you go, Andre. He's using your phrase there. Washko is agreeing with A&I. He says one of several Japanese players. There's his full name. That's it, of course. Furashi. Furuhashi. I probably butchered that. I probably should have never read it out. Sorry. And Elvis saying me on Thursday before our game would be good, guys. Elvis would have loved to. I'm actually, unfortunately, not going to the game. I tried getting a ticket. People wanted hundreds, and I'm not paying hundreds to go to that game. That's just on a midweek as well. That's just ridiculous. But yeah, if you're going to the game, enjoy it. And it's a huge game. It's a huge game. But we're getting to that on Wednesday. Let's keep the videos separate. But yeah, enjoy the game, my friend. And by the way, actually, on the subject of videos coming out, obviously Wednesday we have got the preview for the Arsenal game. Thursday we'll obviously have our match reaction. Hopefully it's absolutely buzzing. But also later on, I think Andre mentioned it yesterday, perhaps. We've got Jack Burford, he's a bit of a regular guest. He went to the Anfield game on Sunday. Not Sunday, Saturday. and he's done a little vlog for you guys, about an 8-minute vlog. So that will be on the channel later on today. So give that a little watch as well if you want to see exactly what it was like in Anfield in that away end yesterday. It's a really good video, actually. He takes you all the way from his car journey all the way into the stands, and the reaction after the game is just brilliant. But stay tuned for that one, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely excited. And Ayanami here is rooting for Frankfurt instead. All right. Well, we'll see who wins. As a neutral fan, gotta say I'm either one. It's totally fine. But Rangers, the underdog. You always gotta just root for the underdog. All right, let's move on to our next player, Giovanni Lo Celso. He's actually been doing quite well in the Spanish league, which is where we brought him from. So that shouldn't be a surprise. I know that Villarreal are very interested in bringing him back once the loan is done, whether that would be on a permanent or on another loan, depending on how much Villarreal are willing to pay. I'm sure if they're trying to sort of lowball us, Levy will pull some deal out of his ass there. Maybe a loan, some sort of loan fee that then builds up eventually with increments to something that would help us sort of lower the amount of money we would lose based on what we paid for him. But at the moment, he's played 19 games for them. He's got 1 goal, which he scored yesterday. He has 1 assist, accumulated 3 yellows, played around 1,000 minutes, 84% pass completion, 64% tackle success. Not too many of them have been full matches in La Liga. And he's got a couple subs in there. Villarreal currently 7th. And when he's played, they have 6 wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses. So we'll see what happens with him. Welsh Gal, you know what? I was very underwhelmed because I was very excited when we signed him. And then he turned out the way he did, with the worst shooting I've seen from a midfielder, to be honest, other than Sissoko. What are your thoughts on him, James?
Listen, that's why I put the comment up. Welsh Gal's literally capped my rant, which would be about 300 words to 7 words here. Please keep him, Villarreal. Never liked him. That's what I've got to say, to be honest. You guys know how I feel about Giovanni Lo Celso. He's a very poor player. He's doing all right at Villarreal, and that's because in the Spanish league you have at least 10 times the amount of time on the ball. You can mess around with it a little bit, and for Spurs, you just can't do that. In the Premier League, you can't do that. You don't get that long on the ball. You get closed down by the likes of, a Fabinho, a Fernandinho, Jorginho. They don't give you any space in this league. And he thinks he has time on the ball, and he doesn't. And his dribbling is not even as good as people think. He's amazing for Argentina. I don't know why. He's amazing for Villarreal by the sounds of things. I mean, watching him in Champions League, he was probably one of their best players in the latter stages. And for Spurs, I could count on one hand how many good performances he's had for Spurs. So, listen, please buy him, Villarreal. I hope you enjoy him. I still support him. He's a Spurs player. He gave his. Can you say he gave his all for the club? I think he did. I just don't think the league suits him. And I'm saying it suits the Spanish league well. That just have that style. We can even use him in a deal for Pau Torres, which is good for both sides. Yeah, this could play in our benefit. I started laughing when I saw his corner delivery. Honestly, and he can't clear the first man from a corner. I mean, for that reason alone, please don't come back. But listen, I'm not going to start hating on Lo Celso. Look, you guys know my opinion on him, but I think we should just sell him now and try and get as much cash back for him as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Plus, you kind of want. I think it's in our best interest to clear the wages in there, so that we can bring in more players.
Exactly, Simon. Yeah. 19 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. There you go. There's another 7 words. Just sums it up. I mean, I said I wouldn't go on my rant. I kind of started doing it. But Andre, let's move on because I'll have more bad things to say about Lo Celso.
Sure. One last thing I'll say, though. Yeah, definitely there is something that could possibly be done because we need a left center back. We have been looking at Pau Torres before. He stayed because of the fact that, that he wanted to play Champions League, but it doesn't look like they'll be getting that.
Yeah.
So this might be their best way to cut some losses is bring in Lo Celso. Maybe we'll pay them a little bit more money, and we'll get Pau Torres for a cut fee. So
exactly.
See what we can do there. All right, let's move on to the next player. And I think you recognize this guy, right, James? Or do we? I don't think he's played for Spurs much, unfortunately. This is
Yeah,
Jack Clark.
Jack Clark, exactly. I think he played what? I remember him playing. I think it was when we played in that FA Cup game against. Was it Marine? I think him and Harvey White came on. I think Harvey White actually scored in that game. Um,
So
but I mean, Jack Clark. Listen, I think we made a mistake buying him from Leeds, I believe. Um, I don't know. This guy is probably playing right now in the level he should be at. Maybe again, maybe I'm being a bit negative on him. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair, but I mean, I haven't heard many things on social media of Jack Clark's playing so well for Sunderland at the moment. I can't wait to have him back. I'm not hearing any of that, and I'm not seeing that with the stats, which I'm sure you're about to read out as well. So yeah, maybe let's hear the stats then review it.
all right. So actually, I believe his contract ends this year. So it's I don't know. He's played 16 matches, 1 goal, 2 assists, played around 998 minutes, 77% pass completion, 73% tackle success. He's played five of his 16 matches were played full 90 minutes. He's had 9 starts, 7 substitutions, and one of those matches that where since he's been at Sunderland was he just left on the bench. Sunderland currently in fifth. They finished in fifth, and they're playing the second leg of the semifinal playoffs currently
Now,
right now, actually.
yeah, right now. Yeah, Dan's just put that in chat. He's playing tonight in the playoffs, and also Dan said, I also don't think there's no coincidence that not only we are on a good run considering the very bad start to the season, but I get the feeling from the dressing room is very positive now, and negativity equals bad form. Exactly, we're clearing those parasites that are sucking the life out of the team, the morale. And that's why we've had a better second half of the season to first. Let's be honest. I can't imagine having Ndombele, Lo Celso in the dressing room helps things when they didn't want to be there, right? So I think it's a really good point. It's a really good point.
Yeah, and you know what? I am a little worried coming back to SAR because Jack Clark was a guy that I guess had a good season. They bought him for 10 million, and then look what happened. So
Exactly.
we'll need to see what happens there. But Jack Clark, yeah, man. Not gonna say what a waste of money, but you know, he didn't really do much.
It
So
was a misjudgment. It sounded like it was a what's his name special. I've completely forgotten his name. The guy Steve Hitchin. It sounds like it was a Steve Hitchin masterclass. To be honest with you, like just a review a player. He's played a few good games for Leeds in the Championship. Oh, he'll do great in the Premier League for a top 6 side. A sparring top 4 side, a sparring Championship Premier League winning team, and he's got loaned out to Sunderland, who are in League One, like you said, and. I mean, I don't know. It just isn't a great recruitment, was it? And the fact he's that young and his contract's running out, it tells you all you need to know about this.
yep, Steve Hitchin masterclass. I think let's leave it at that and let's move on to the next guy. Unfortunate Jack Clark. All right. Next guy, Brian Hill. Same age as Jack Clark, I believe, or I think a year older. He's played 14 matches currently at Valencia, 3 assists, 3 yellow cards accumulated, played around 900 minutes, 75% pass completion, 50% tackle success. Four of the 14 matches that he's played has been played at full 90 minutes. He's had 10 starts, so not bad. And then he was left on the bench once during these games where he's been at Valencia. But this is a straight loan. There is no option to buy, no obligation to buy. So we still have faith in this guy. I'm hoping he comes back rejuvenated in some sort of way because we need the depth.
Yeah, I mean, on Brian Hill, the one thing that concerns me with the stats you just read out is you said about 14 games played, you said about 3 assists, but then you skipped over goals, which suggests that he hasn't scored for Valencia. And let's be honest, he's a winger, right? You'd expect him to get a couple. Apparently, he's played all right, especially when he came in, but it sounds like it's gone a bit quiet there. Listen, this could be another situation where we bought a Steve Hitchin masterclass signing. He's not turned out to be as good as the scouts report, and we let him go age 21, 22. I could see it happening. I can't see this guy starting for Spurs or even getting on the bench next season, and that is my honest opinion. I just can't see it. I can't see it happening. It's another poor signing, as has to be said, and I'll be the first to admit if this is wrong. Like if he comes in back next year, next season, he's on the bench, he's an impact player, he gets a couple of assists and goals here and there, I will be the first to hold my hands up and say, I got that wrong. But the way it's going, I can only see one option, and that is we're going to sell this guy either to Valencia or a team in the Spanish league, which is where he seems to be playing a little bit better football.
I think if he scores around 3 to 4 goals next season and gets around 2 to 3 assists, he'll do better than our current options.
Exactly.
That's kind of the point we're at right now, and we need this to work. Okay, we traded Lamela and spent 25 million on top of it to get this guy.
Well, I mean, I know he's saying apparently he's a popular player amongst the Valencia fans. Heard they were chanting for him to stay. Wow. Hopefully, the Villarreal fans are chanting for him to stay, and Lyon fans are chanting for Burgers to stay as well. That would be good. And then that really will be clearing some deadwood. I don't like to call Brian Hill deadwood, actually, because that's not fair. He hasn't really had that much of a chance, has he? But I just don't feel like he's Premier League class, or he's certainly not the class we need to progress. And that is how I would review that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Welsh Gal's got it bang on here. Not really sure they bigged him up, but not sure if he's fit for Spurs. Yeah, we could be proven wrong though. So I think Brian Hill. Wrong. Yeah, and we always say, right, like we'll have our opinions, but we will never be mad to be proven wrong in a good way.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So with Brian Hill, though, I think he's the least of our worries. He's young. He still has that momentum. He's only played 6 months with us. I think we have much bigger issues when it comes to players that need to go. So
exactly, definitely.
All right, let's move on to the next one that you mentioned, Ndombele. He went back to his boyhood club, to Lyon. He's got a buy option for 65 million. I don't know how Lyon agreed to that. I don't know how.
Well, I'll tell you how they agreed to that, because they knew they were never actually going to trigger that, and they're not gonna buy him for 65 million. No, he's not even worth 30 on trade. It's not happening. It was part of a way to get a player. Apparently, they do it quite a lot with players where they say they're going to pay 100 million and they're actually never going to play more than 10 million. It's just not happening. And he's not hit the ground running at Lyon again. He scored against. I think the highlight of his loan at Lyon is he scored against West Ham in the Europa League.
Yeah,
I mean,
he has not done well for this. For you've seen how many games like Lascelles was played and Jack Clark has played, and they've only been there since January as well. Tangai's only played 12 matches. He scored 1 goal, 2 assists, has 1 yellow card, 891 minutes, 89% pass completion. So good, but that's expected. He's a good passer of the ball. 77% tackle success. Nice. But of the full matches, only half of them has he actually played the 90 minutes. He's got 10 starts, 2 coming in as a substitute, and he's been left out of the squad entirely 6 times and left once on the bench.
I mean, if he's getting left out of that squad, I don't know if it was for injury reasons, but even if it was for injury reasons, right? That just proves that he's injury prone, like we thought he is. He's not fit enough to play football for 90 minutes week in, week out. We can't have that. You can't have that at Spurs. You just can't. I know it sounds like I'm being harsh, but professional footballers, if you can't play 90 minutes week in, week out, then you're not an athlete. You can't expect to be given respect. He might have all the talent in the world. He might be skillful. He might be pacey. He might have a good shot on him. He might be able to defend. But if you can't play 90 minutes of football week in, week out, that is the fundamental of an athlete. You have to be fit. You have to be physically fit, and he's not. And he's not. Yeah. He's not putting effort to do it. I mean, I've watched him warm up at Tottenham I think we were playing Brentford in December, and him, Dele Alli, and Lo Celso were all chatting together. Literally, you know where you're meant to like sprint to the line and sprint back, or at least jog to the line, jog back. He's going like this. He's basically walking and moving his arms, and I'm sat in the crowd thinking, this guy probably gets 200 grand a week to literally be the laziest. Like, he's so lazy. I've gone off on
Yeah.
a rant on Dre about him, but
No,
sorry,
don't.
let's.
This is very interesting to hear. Like that's what this video is for, because these are players that will be our problem if they're not performing well, and it looks like Ndombele will be our problem next season, because I do not think Lyon is going to trigger 65 million for a guy who has been left out 6 times already.
I mean, look at this. What Dan said here. We may have to take a loss on Ndombele. We will. The way he went off in the Conference League, remember? And Harry Kane having to tell him to hurry up. You can't come back from that. And he's right. You know, the fact that other players are having to tell another player to get off the pitch because they want to go and win the game. And he's quite happy to, walk off, take his gloves off, get booed by the crowd. It's like he enjoys it. It's bizarre. It's a bizarre mentality. Broshka saying, what a shame, talented, but a head case, exactly. And definition of inconsistent, not my cup of tea. It's just many clubs have laid him off for multiple reasons. We have failed to see that. We failed to see that when he signed him, exactly. And guess what it comes down to, Andre? Another absolute masterclass from the chef that is Steve Hitchin.
Yeah. I mean, look, Ndombele is the one consistent player that through all of these like managers that have come and gone since Pochettino, they've all left him out. Mourinho didn't really rate him. He tried to get him to fit in, and he couldn't bring up that endurance and that stamina. Pochettino was leaving him out as well. Ryan Mason left him out. He didn't play a single game with Ryan Mason. Nuno, same thing. And Conte, same thing. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. And someone's just said, evening, Carl, by the way. Hope you're doing well, mate. He says, Simon says, why is it with Spurs and French players, Hugo's side? Spurs should have never bought him due to his mentality. That's just made me think of like Clinton and Jai and Kudu. It's so true. It's so true. And I was saying January is a nightmare. It's the classic right. Steve Hitchin quote from the Amazon documentary. I mean, that guy, just talking about Steve Hitchin makes me angry. Anyway, big up Carl says Welsh girl, exactly. Any player we're interested in, we should be offering Ndombele as part of the deal. He is toxic to a dressing room. Honestly, I think we've said enough about Ndombele. We get the picture. This guy has to go. He has to go.
Yeah.
Like, I would say it's as important to get rid of Ndombele as Winks, just because of the fact he's hogging up so much of the wage bill, and we have to try and cut our losses on it. If we leave it another year, he's going to go on a free, isn't he? So it's just like take the hit, and get rid of him.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, just take the L on this one, guys, and just sell him to whoever wants him. But the thing is, will Ndombele even consider going anywhere that isn't willing to offer at least 200,000? It might just be one of those things where we're just going to have to keep loaning him out and having to talk to clubs to agree to pay part of the wages so that we can at least take 100,000 off. It's kind of like what Real Madrid did with Bale with us, where they're like, okay, he won't go, just any club that wants him, please just take him so that we can lower our wage bill, please. Right? Mm-hmm. No disrespect to Bale, but that was the position that he was in with Real Madrid. So we might have to, this is our version of that at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh well. Ayanami here, Nuno was bullied into using these useless players, never should have hired him. Exactly. And I think one couple of videos ago we mentioned that, look, if we're going with a Conte route, we need to back him. We need to stop thinking that players might fit. We need to keep them around, because every time a new manager comes in, you think, oh, maybe this guy will bring in something new. No, it's over. We're going with Conte. He doesn't want them. Goodbye. That's it. Bring in the Conte era. Bring the Conte players. That's it.
Exactly that. Talented but bad attitude. another Balotelli. Winks is world class. What are you talking about? And honestly, we should be putting Winks on the table for a James Ward-Prowse Southampton. I mean, absolutely, absolutely. Andre, who is is it fifth line player?
Nope. We're on to our seventh and final player. I'm sure most of you guys remember the hype that was Troy Parrott in that Norwich game, especially where he unfortunately missed a pen. I think it was so unfair of Mourinho to never play him and then play him in extra time and then have him take a penalty and just completely destroy his confidence. It did take him some time to get running because he was loaned out shortly after, and nothing much happened. He got injured, but he's with MK Dons now, and he is doing well. He's going to be entering the final year of his contract when he comes back at the end of this season. He's played 46 matches with MK Dons, scored 10 goals, had 7 assists, 2 yellows, 1 red card. He's played 3,300 minutes, 75% pass completion, 30% tackle success, so not very good with the tackling, but that's fine. He's up front. 25 of the 46 matches that he played were played the full 90 minutes. He's had 39 starts, 7 subs, and he was left out 9 times from the squad. Some of them were from injuries. So what are your thoughts on him?
Troy Parrott. I mean, it's great to hear that he scored 10 goals in a season because he's probably never done it before. But 46 games, 10 goals. Did you say 7 assists?
Yes.
To be fair, it's not actually too bad. And listen, he's not the only striker. I was actually watching MK Dons yesterday in the other playoff. I know you mentioned the Sunderland one, and he scored. He scored yesterday, a looping header. I think he meant to cross it, but it looped over the goalie from a header. Like if he said he went for goal, then it's a great header, but I don't think he did. And he scored actually for Ireland this year as well. Really important goal. Actually, it wasn't an important goal. It was like 96 minutes. It was a friendly, but it was just scenes at the Irish National Stadium. And I think there's a little bit of hope for Troy Parrott. I thought he's definitely like 100% leaving Spurs. I still think it's quite likely, but obviously like he's had a decent loan spell. I think the MK Dons move was a good one for him. Will he come back and be on the bench ready to replace Kane in games in Premier League? Probably not, but it's really promising that he has done well at MK Dons and he has scored for Ireland. And you know, I think he's still what 20 or 21. So I mean,
He's 20. Yeah.
So I mean, still young, still got years. He was at Spurs for a reason through the youth system. So listen, I just think it's difficult for players like Troy Parrott because they're never going to start games at Spurs. Could they be involved in cup runs in the earlier rounds? I think so. But then again, we haven't given Dane Scarlett much of a chance. So I just think, you know, if you compare him to Dane Scarlett, I'd rather play Dane Scarlett. And therefore, he's then third choice as a striker. But he's not even really that because, you know, we've got the options of Kulusevski, Son up front. And it's just like levels, isn't it? You're talking about those players, and then you've got Troy Parrott, inexperienced in the Premier League, not really up to the standard of starting a Premier League game, of course, well off of it. But listen, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to sit here and say, oh, yeah, he's definitely going. But that loan spell has probably given him a lot of confidence.
Yeah. And, you know, the crazy thing, this is kind of like when we were doing the video to close out the transfer window, and we realized that Bryan Hill and Kulusevski are the same age. And we just had like a moment to just go like, oh, we didn't even think of that because of the levels that they're in. Mm-hmm. Just Kulusevski's just on a whole other level. And I think the only way that oh my God. Oh my God. I think the only way that Parrott is going to come in and get into this team is he just needs to hold his head up high, have that confidence, almost like that Ibrahimovic confidence where it's like, look, I know that I can be great. So let me show you guys that I'm great. If you go in thinking, oh, you know, be nice, you know, like maybe I'll get it. No, you won't get in because your competition other than Harry Kane to come in is Scarlett, and who knows who else will come in, especially because Conte wants immediate responses here.
Exactly. And he says, hope Parrot keeps it up. Love to see our academy talents have success. He's doing well at MK Dons as well, Scout, and with the Republic of Ireland. Could be good for us. Carl says, I'm so confused about Parrot because you would say we'll never make it, but how many people said that about Kane when he didn't do anything on his loan deals? Very good point, actually. Like, we wrote off Harry Kane when he was going to Leicester, Norwich, Millwall. Like, very similar kind of situation, actually. But Carl, I will eat my words if Troy Parrott ends up as good as Harry Kane. Dan Coy is saying, might have missed it at the start of the show, but what wasted alone for Niall John. We didn't actually review Niall John. We had to keep it to 7, Dan. Otherwise, this video would probably go on for. I mean, we've loaned so many players out. It's just actually crazy. I take my son to see Charlton as well as it's the local, and only saw him on the bench sent to the Charlton. Charlton's under 23s, so he might as well be at Spurs under 23s. It's a good point, Dan. It's just really annoying. Sunderland are 1-0 down on the night, so it's 1-0 in aggregate. It might be a good watch, actually. Welsh guy saying, how is Winks in the team as some of these young lads can't get a look in? Honestly, this is the exact thoughts for most of these. Like, it's just, yeah, I'd rather give young, hungry, aspiring professionals to, not aspiring professionals, aspiring, like, players to really have a good go at the first team. If players like Winks are in the first team, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Really, when you put it like that, it's just
I'd rather
Harvey White
I'm sure
over Winks.
Yeah, and most of the time, right? This is the one criticism of Conte. Those games where we've been winning, like, oh my, those games where we've been winning like 4-0. Why not bring in Harvey White then? Why are you bringing on Lucas Moura or Bergwijn? You think like to not hurt their feelings? I don't care about that. Bring in Harvey White. Let him play. It's we're 4-0. Why would you like? Other than that, because then you're gonna be like, oh, well, I can't bring them in when we're winning 2-1. The game's too close. Okay, bring them in when we're scoring like crazy. Have him play, because if there is a mistake, say we do get scored on once, it's not the end of the world. You have to develop your players, and we don't have any easy games at the moment. So
exactly that. I know he's saying Scarlett has more potential, 100%. To be complemented by three top class world managers is impressive. Very impressive. Very, very. I've got very, very high hopes for Dane Scarlett. I mean, it's just again, like I kind of said it a few times in this video, layers of class. You've obviously got Kane, Son, established world class players. Then you've got like the fringe players. Then you've got young talent that has the chance to be really good, like Scarlett. And then you've got Troy Parrott. And that's how I'd analyze it.
And then below that, you got Winks.
No. Then below that, you've got a load of rubbish. Then below that, you've got really bad rubbish. And then you got Harry Winks.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Let's hope Winks never sees this.
Scarlett needs to go out on loan to the Championship next season. Will do wonders for him. I agree. I'd love to see him at like a Middlesbrough, Nottingham Forest if they don't get promoted. I think that would be brilliant. But yeah, good stats all round, Andre. Great research. I'm sure everyone, the Spurs Relatables, really hopefully enjoyed that, guys. Let us know if you enjoyed that. Something a little bit different today, as we said. Do give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy the concept of, a lone player watch. Maybe we can do, I don't know, something a little different next time. Maybe something to do with transfers coming in the summer. Reviewing the options, maybe reviewing our starting 11 next year would be a cool video. So do let us know. But big up to obviously Andre for doing all the stats there, guys. Give him a little round of applause maybe in the chat. But massive thanks to all the comments throughout this video. I mean, it is, like I said, like we will always be humbled by like 10, 12 people watching us, but literally 10, 12 people have been commenting throughout. So there's literally like no one pretty much watching and not commenting. That's what we love. We love the fact that you guys always comment, great ideas, great feedback, great talking points. It's always such a great, it makes my day coming on here and interacting with you guys. So we will always be humbled by that. I'm sure Andre reflects my thoughts.
Oh, 100%. The fact that you guys coming in here, you know, we're here to talk about Spurs and just go over, you know, just the things that you would in any place with your friends, right? But we're here with the stats, you know, and so just a little bit more research put into it before we come in. But thanks, Carl. But definitely keep on the lookout because keep on the lookout because we're definitely, once the season ends, we'll be going over the players, their stats, how they performed this season, who needs to go. Even though a couple players, I don't even think we need to look at their stats to know who needs to go. But there are some short lists for sure that we've been reporting on in our socials. So definitely, if you haven't seen it, go and look at our Instagrams or Twitter, because we have been talking about what the journalists have been saying. There are a few players that are already sort of being opened to the window just to see who wants them. And that'll be something we'll be covering as well, because, you know, it's Levy. He's not just going to spend money. We're going to need to make some money.
Exactly. Spot on, Andre. Couldn't agree more, mate. One more thing, guys. Obviously, like I said, coming up later on this evening, in about an hour to two's time, depending on how long it takes, there will be a match vlog up. Jack Burford did go to the game and vlog it for you guys. A little short video, but it's an absolute great watch. Do check it out. Give it a little like. Give this video a like. Subscribe if you're new. And the other thing is, guys, I always forget to say, is turn that notification bell on, because you will always know when we're going live. If we have a surprise video like today, you guys know that we're live. And if not, follow our socials. We always let you know, guys know when we're live on there. And yeah, that's about everything, guys. Make sure you smash the like button. I think I've said it about 7 times. So if you haven't done it, then what are you doing? I'm joking. But guys, thanks so much. And as always, guys, remember, what is it, Andre?
You say it.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.